Katie Hunter from MMA UK. I'm here with the one and only George Lockhart. Hi, George.
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm really good, thank you. So I had the pleasure of meeting you back in February in Dublin when you were running the Cert 1 course there. Absolutely fascinating. One thing that people say to me when they're talking about when you were on Joe Rogan was they couldn't follow like the science of what you were talking about. And I think for me, we spent 2 days in that room going over like some really like fascinating science, but it just brought home to me how much is behind what you do.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's kind of a new science. A lot of people want others to go to like dietitians and nutritionists and things like that, but weight cutting isn't taught in schools. It's been a practice that we've perfected over the years. Drawing from abstracts and things like that.
Yeah, because a lot of nutritionists as well want to level criticism that like you guys don't have nutrition degrees, or that's the one thing that I always say back to people is where is weight cutting in the syllabus? Like it's not everybody knows it's not a healthy thing, and you guys are just trying to make it as safe as possible for the athletes.
Yeah, 100%. No, absolutely. It's a great thing that you saw that with the certification. I think a lot of people are it opens their eyes up that it's just not like, hey, get in a hot bath or get into a sauna. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes.
And also, a lot of these meal prep companies get quite big press, and they're sending the food into the fighters. But you guys quite often don't get called in till something goes wrong.
Right. Yeah, we're like the last ditch effort a lot of the times. We're not the guys that get the real easy cuts. There's a lot of guys that we have a really good retention rate. After they use us, they're like, man, I'm going to do this forever, and then they do an entire fight camp, and then the cuts are a lot easier for them.
Yeah. So I guess the people you work with do fall into those two categories of the people you work with year round and the people that call you in when there's a problem.
Right. That's definitely the two.
And I'll get onto him in a moment, but one of the things Dolce said on Ariel's podcast was that you don't have 100% success rate, but that was one of the things when we did the cert, that was one of the things that impressed me the most was that you said you never turn anybody away, even if you know that the cut that they're looking at is either they're not going to make it, or that it's going to be really tight. You'd rather do it with them because they're going to try and do it on their own otherwise.
No, absolutely. We've done a lot of cuts where coaches are like, "Oh, you just got to suck it up, or you got to do this, you got to do that." And a lot of them just don't know any better. You know what I mean? Their job. You'll have a striking coach or a jiu-jitsu coach, a wrestling coach, trying to show this individual how to cut, trying to tell them when it's time to stop, and they don't really know the safety precautions and the signs to look out for. So yeah, 100%. I'd rather work with somebody knowing they're not going to make it, but be able to call it when it's still safe, where it's not going to be a detriment to their career, their health.
And then another thing that we touched on, which was huge for me, like there's so much focus on the actual cut itself. But you were saying if a fighter it doesn't make weight, then they lose 20% of their purse. But if they lose because they didn't rehydrate properly, then they've lost 50% of their purse. Like there was such a huge emphasis on the rehydration. And I don't know anybody who does it as specifically to the fighters as you guys.
Thanks. No, I appreciate that. It's something that we definitely came up with over the years. A lot of trial and error. We got to talk to Dr. Robert Kennefic. He's got a PhD in oil rehydration. He works with the military and things, and we showed him our protocol, and man, he was like, man, this is light years beyond anybody. So it's something that's definitely important. When the IV ban came out, oral rehydration was my preferred method to start off with. It's just too risky to try and shoot somebody with an IV, especially when they've been dehydrating for the last 3 or 4 days. their veins aren't exactly what you call primed and ready for a needle to be stuck into it. So, yeah, no, that's I appreciate that. You know, it's awesome talking to somebody that's actually went through the cert.
Well, yeah, and obviously that was something that Mike Dolce criticised as well on Ariel's podcast. People like me who are doing the certs, he thinks you're ripping us off, that we're just fanboys and girls that want to get close to the fighters. I mean, I will fully admit that I am a fangirl of everything to do with MMA, but also just fascinated by the nutrition side of it. And I don't understand why people who, you know, if they come on your courses and they learn what to do, and then also get the opportunity to shadow your team on multiple UFC weight cuts, you know, or wherever they want to go and shadow them, why people like us can't learn how to do it and help other athletes.
Right. Right. That's one of the biggest things we came up with the cert. It's, you know, we have a pretty big stronghold on the UFC, Bellator, you know, Combate, a lot of these, the bigger venues, but there's a lot of amateur shows where these guys, they're just cutting weight on their own. And we just can't afford to send people, pay for flight, room and board, food and all that other stuff. But if we have a coach at the gym that's been certified, they can do it a lot more safely than if they hadn't went through the course at all.
And there's also a lot of other shows in the UK and Europe. So by doing certifications over here, you're obviously spreading the net a lot wider to, you know, educate people in this country as well.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, and it's funny because I think because of wrestling in America, it's weight cutting is a little bit more a little bit more intense. You know, when we work with people from the UK, Ireland, their cuts aren't as drastic, but they also, you know, I don't know if it has spread like the, you know, the I wouldn't say the knowledge, but the science behind weight cutting hasn't spread as much over there because I guess it's not as prevalent.
Well, and I think as well, we don't have any sports like growing up through high school where, you know, wrestling, as you can probably tell from some of the fighters we've had in the UFC, but wrestling isn't taught in high schools in this country. So that is a typical sport that people are growing up learning how to manage their weight, you know, sometimes not in a healthy way, but that's something that we don't ever come across really until people are competing when they're either adults or, you know, at least late teens over here.
Right, right. You know, it's funny, man. Like going over there, that the questions that people were asking in Ireland. You know, like when you have maybe 5 kilos to lose, they're like, "Man, how's that possible?" It's like, man, that's a drop in the bucket with what we're used to. But it's cool. So you know, once they actually do find out the proper way to actually do it, the right, you know, fundamentals and principles and things, it makes it a lot safer, a lot easier. And a lot of these guys are you know, their careers are expanding. You know, we would. Leon Edwards is one of them. We started working with him. First time we worked with him, he's like, "Man, this is it. I'm gonna do this." You know, and he's doing pretty good in his career right now.
And Arnold Allen as well is another UK guy who I know works with you guys. He's 5-0 in the UFC. Again, I think he called you in on fight week and then continued to work with you like after that going forward. So
Awesome.
and another super interesting thing for me, I've always suspected it, but it was good to hear it confirmed at the start, was the differences between men and women in cutting weight, and why women can cut so much less really on fight week, or should cut so much less, and the reasons why we more often see women missing by a big percentage of their body weight. You know, it's not uncommon to see girls missed by 7 pounds. So
Right. Yeah, but when I first started really working with women in weight cutting, I was like I talked about during the cert, and it was nuts. It was, you know, like I said, I was like, man, every woman that I work with cheats. It's the only way that this is physically possible. They're cheating, you know. And you know, and then, you know, I got to work. You know, there's just amazing female athletes, and I'm like, there's no way on God's green earth that they're cheating. And you know, I start finding out, yeah, it is possible for a woman to gain 5 pounds, in a day, even though she doesn't cheat. The hormones and women they're just more adapted to holding weight or water weight. They're designed to hold on to water weight. So, um, that's something that we've tried to overcome. We're still learning. A year from now, we're going to be a lot more knowledgeable and so on and so forth. But that's one thing that I really want to get out there is the education for female fighters, because it is a lot more drastic than it is with males.
Yeah. Would you say it's a lot more important for them to maintain a body weight closer to their fight weight throughout the year rather than trying to do a big cut prior to their fight?
Yes, like I never want to put 100% on everything. Reason being is because because women's weight it fluctuates so much. It's really easy to get eating disorders and just constantly like stepping on the scale and then stressing about it. And then I have a lot of women that don't ever even want to get on the scale. They're like, no, I'm not doing it. Not going to happen. And I totally get it. If I saw my weight going up and down every single day, I would get frustrated too. I definitely want them to stay around the fight weight, unless it's a drastic cut, and then sometimes it's maybe time to go up a weight class.
Yeah. There was a really interesting story you told about a woman that you worked with, not in the fight game, just a woman who is approaching a milestone birthday, who you actually went and lived with to try and help get the weight off her. And you ended up having to make her do a fast to like kickstart her metabolism because she'd just reduced her calories to such a tiny number and nothing was working for her.
Yeah, no, she was amazing in terms of like following the plan and everything else. And like I said, in the story when I first got there, I was like, Jiminy Christmas, this is insane. Where when I was in the Marine Corps, you get these guys, they'd be 250, 260 pounds, and you're like, well, what do you eat on a general daily basis? They're like, well, grilled chicken and lettuce, and you look at them and you're like, there is no way on God's green earth that that's what you're eating. There's just no way, and that's true. Like for men, for the most part, that's true. There's a very small percentage of them that actually have maybe some thyroid issues and things like that. But with women, I've encountered a lot of women where it's like, man, they're eating 600-800 calories a day, and they can still gain weight, And like I said, during the course, a lot of people's protocols, it's like, well, let's kickstart their metabolism. Let's just start feeding them more calories. And all that's going to happen is they're just going to constantly gain weight. So, we have to create a stimulus where we actually are able to increase that metabolism.
Yeah, it's one of the, trials and tribulations of being a woman. One of the the many things that we've got that are worse off for.
I am definitely don't. I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous in terms of the weight cutting, man. Not at all.
So tell us about the nutrition and CBD line that you guys have got coming out.
So we got a new, the supplement company. We started out post weigh-in supplementation, pre-workout, post-workout, intra-workout. We have a sleep aid. There's a lot of stuff that we have to basically mix together, and it sucks because when we do somebody remotely, and you're like, okay, I need you to get 1/4 of a teaspoon of sodium chloride. I need half a cup of this, half a cup of that. It's just like you got to go to a million different places. And then, the last thing you want to do during fight week is sit there and measure all this stuff out,
Yeah.
And it's really easy to get lost in translation, especially when someone's cutting weight. A teaspoon, they might think it's a tablespoon, and from the course, like that's drastic.
Yeah.
So the post weigh-in supplementation we have basically you dictate body weight. You'll look at how much weight they actually cut, and then it'll tell you like take this amount of scoops, this amount of scoops. It'll have the mixture generated specifically for them.
So in terms of like, I know there is a different amount of potassium and different things that we had to put in the drink depending on how much the person had cut and so forth. So how do the ratios within those products, like how does it, how is it still that specific for that person? Is it just down to how many scoops go in?
Right. So the kicker is remember that the everything goes off of the amount of sodium that's lost. during the actual weight cut. You know, we have to find the glycogen because remember, water attaches to glycogen, and then we have to find out, okay, this is how much glycogen their body holds, this is how much water is attached to that glycogen, and then this is how much salt is in the water being lost. Once you find that salt, everything is ratios after that, because remember, the potassium is going to be half of that. So if we have, you know, somebody that needs 2,000 milligrams of sodium chloride, and then you got somebody that needs 5,000 milligrams of sodium chloride, the mixture will still be the same. It's the same ratios, a more or less amount of sodium.
So are you worried that fighters will gravitate towards just using the product and not employing the team for fight week if they've got these handy supplements so easily available to them?
Oh, you know, no, man, that's good for me. We started out trying to make this better for the fighters. You know, like I fought at heavyweight all the way down to welterweight. You know, and I had horrendous weight cuts, just nasty, and I was just always, you know, trying to learn to, you know, get better and things like that. And I see the stuff that a lot of these fighters are doing in the UFC, and you know, you just wow, you know, somebody's seriously gonna get injured, you know, in the UFC. We've, you know, unfortunately, there's been people that have actually died from weight cuts.
Yeah.
But if there was something that we could have done to actually prevent that, that'd be huge. And the cool thing is, you know, we've branched out. You know, we work a lot with boxing now. We work with, you know, like we work with Wimp the Warrior, which is amazing organization
I've
because
done
we
with
get.
the Warrior.
Yeah, man, it's huge, man. It's amazing. Like I wish there was something like that when I was coming up. You know, just it's taking an average Joe, and within 22 weeks they're in a fight. You know, so it's cool to work with them. And what we're trying to do is implement behavioral changes. So once they're done with the fight, you know, not only do they, you know, continue to keep training, but they keep those nutritional habits and basically transform their life and become more healthy.
Very cool. And you're having you're putting on a show to launch all these products, is that right?
Yeah, we're doing so we're still waiting on the venue. It's either going to be the end of August or the beginning of September. Basically, you know, we're holding a fight with all the certs that we have. There's a lot of them that want to do like a reunion, you know. We do the small time certifications. We'll have anywhere from 6 to 20 people. You get really close to these guys. So they want to, you know, come out and watch the fight, you know, and you know, when we came up with the idea, I was like, well, dude, you know, if we're going to hold fights, man, I might as well fight on the card, you know? So I'm getting back into fight training, which is lifting weights is fun, you know, like nobody's trying to punch you in the face. But fight training, you know, it's good to be back and just remember what the fighters are going through.
And have you decided what weight class you're going to fight at yet?
I want middleweight, so I want middleweight 185. So it shouldn't be that big of a cut. I'm about 230 right now, so we got a little bit to go.
So I would imagine that you'll diet most of the way there, though. If before then, you won't be cutting too much, will you?
Well, I'm a big cutter. I'll usually cut about 20 pounds, you know, which would be a really good cut for me. You know, that'd be pretty simple, like the week of. But I've done 30, and it wasn't any fun. You know, that definitely wasn't what I was looking for. So I'm looking for 15 to 20 pounds.
I bet there'll be a lot of certs who'll be excited to help with your cut.
Yeah, a little too excited, you know. I've had a lot of people hit me up like, "Oh, I'm coming out. I'm going to help you with your cut." I'm like, "You just want to see me suffer," but it should be
in Georgia.
Yeah, it's going to be in Rome, Georgia.
Awesome. And tell us about who you called out on Ariel Hawani's podcast.
Well, yeah. I mean, I called out Mike Dolce, and you know, me and him have had a beef for a long time. You know, the guy just he rubs me the wrong way. He says a lot of things about me. Talks a lot about my team. You know, with me it's one thing. With my team it's something else. You know, tries to discredit me. Tries to discredit the team. Texts the team. Emails the team. I mean, after the podcast, he put something out for Dolce's tip of the month. Literally, what he sent out to all his people that, you know, I guess they pay for his nutrition, and it was, you know, basically just again talking smack about me. You know, that'll be the last time I bring him up ever. You know, I was went out to ask for a fight. Like, hey, do you want to fight? You talk as if you do. And then, he came back with, $500,000 to fight bare knuckle. I mean, dude, I'll fight bare knuckle. I give two craps. And the thing is, like, they don't have to pay me a dime. Like, honestly, I will fight him. They don't have to. I'll pay my way out there. I'll pay for my hotel. Dude, whatever. And if he just so happened, like, hell froze over and he beat me, then yeah, pay him his money. But if not, like, don't pay him anything, because there's a lot of there's actual good fighters out there that this is their livelihood, and they're not getting 500,000. I mean, I think that's disrespectful. The fact that he asked for $500,000, and he's just like me. He's a food dude. You know what I mean? Like, why the hell would you pay a nutritionist 500,000?
Well, there's UFC headliners who don't get paid $500,000 sometimes, but
yeah, nowhere near, man. And they've dedicated so much more of their lives to fighting than me and Dolce. You know what I mean? So,
where did the beef come from, though? I know he said that, like, you offered him half of your company, and he turned it down. And then he said that you got some articles written about him, just like slandering him.
yeah.
Is this how you remember the beef beginning?
No, like, everything that he says is a lie, and that's the thing. Like, I never want to, come out on social media and go on Twitter or go on Instagram, because the thing is, he's just lies. He'll come back and he'll just lie. Like, if you look at the guys, like, he was calling out, like, he's like, oh, Mike Chiesa, he almost killed Mike Chiesa. Dude, Mike Chiesa, when I called out Dolce, asked me for tickets to the fight. He's like, dude, I got to be there, And, Chiesa still works with us. All these people, they still work with us. And it's like, why is it that they would do that? If you look at the facts, if you look at any writing, I've never attacked Dolce, on terms of character or anything like that. The one article that came out that he was talking about, the one that got him such an freak, I was just like, man, I've never actually seen him or heard him state anything that was groundbreaking when it came to actual weight cutting. He basically says eat earth-grown nutrients, which is great for the average Joe. That average Joe is going to lose weight. They're going to see results. He might be good with behavioral changes, but when it comes to cutting weight, he's saying that our companies, we're going under and all this other stuff. But it's funny because we'll have, like, I don't know if you knew, but if you looked on the Ariel Helwani show, half of the guests are clients. Just on the show. I think almost on the show alone, we work with more people that were on Ariel's show than he worked with all year, So, and then I think what was the other thing they said? Oh, that he never talks smack. He's literally, like, you could look up his podcast. He's had entire podcasts where he just no integrity, George, and then he starts talking about our guys. It's like, that's just straight up lying.
Yeah. Well, I obviously looked up a few of the people that he talked about on there, and Michael Chiesa, he was one who was very adamant. He had a foot injury going into that, or during the fight camp. He couldn't run, he couldn't wrestle, and as a consequence, he went into fight week being a lot heavier than usual. And he actually said that you guys were awesome, and it was nothing to do with anything other than the fact he couldn't do any cardio, and he'd gone into fight week much too heavy.
Right. I remember him, he called me up, and I think it was like, man, it was like a month or month and a half out from the fight. He's like, dude, I can't run. And I'm like, oh, man, okay, this is going to be, because I don't know if you've seen Mike Chiesa in person. I had always,
big guy.
He's huge. I had never seen him, because most of these fighters, I don't see him unless it's fight week. So they're already kind of whittled down. I saw him 2 weeks after that fight, and I was like, holy crap, like, he was huge. So, I'm glad he did move up. But, yeah, there's always extenuating circumstances with things. And it's funny because you'll hear Dolce, like, talk about people that he's worked with before, and but you'll never hear us talk about it. We never tell people what goes on behind the scenes. At the end of the day, it's like, that's our client. What happened between our client and us, that stays between us. If they say something, that's on them. That's totally fine. But yeah, we'll never do that.
Yeah, and quite often your clients do talk about their weight cuts. Yoel Romero was another one who missed weight, and I know we talked about this on the cert, he actually got interrupted by the commission during the extra 2 hours that he was supposed to get to make weight, and they made him come down early, right?
Yeah, yeah. He had an extra 2 hours. Literally, he had 1 pound to go, and I was like, okay, we had cut, we had done a couple of baths, and one of the things that we talked about with the surge is like not only you have to worry about the rehydration, but you have to worry about overheating if you continue to
Yeah.
do the bath. So I let him chill out for like 30 minutes, just laid on the bed. And I'm like, all right, so we got the bath ready. He gets ready to go in the bath. And the commission's like, we need him down here right now. And we're like, well, what are you talking about? And it's funny because he maybe did a 5-6 minute bath and he missed by 0.2. He was still sweating when he was on the scale. He missed by 0.2. Like, but and his manager went on, to say that, yeah, man, like he got screwed over by the commission. But you'll see Dolce be like, oh, George tried to kill him. We're like, well, you see how our rehydration helped. Like you see him fight the second time with Robert Whitaker,
Yeah.
and he looked better in the third, fourth, and fifth rounds. So coming back from a bad, like a rough cut, because we got word, I think it was that Monday. What his weight was and things like that. So it's not like we worked with him all fight camp.
Yeah. And for him, obviously, like the commission weren't just taking away 20% of his purse, it was his chance to fight for the belt as well, because it's obviously a championship fight. Like, absolutely gutting. But it is crazy, and I'm sure you've got some incredible stories that
Definitely.
you can't tell.
Right. I got to keep them tucked away one of these days.
So, George, if people wanted to do this, where would they find out about it?
They can go to LockhartElite.com. They can DM me anytime on Instagram. I'm Lockloaded MMA. We have a cert coming up in Austin, Texas. Like that's a close insert, like with really small group of people. And then we're coming back to Ireland again in September. So I'm a big fan of Ireland, so I go back as many times as I can. We're gonna do another event out there, and then we are gonna make it to the UK. We're going to Australia this year as well, but we're gonna be going to the UK. There's a lot of people. We have a pretty good following out there.
And you've just been to Canada as well?
Yeah, we just got done with the certification in Canada. It was in Ottawa, it was an awesome time. It's great. Like me and Dan have the best job in the world. We get to go to new places, meet new people, and just teach what we know. Just trying to help.
So you're still doing the certs personally?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, me and Dan are the only ones that'll actually do the certifications. So our team's the one that does all the groundwork now with all the fighters. Ian Larios, Eric Pena, Eric Chaligi, Tyler Mitten, James Lockwood. We have a lot of clients right now that we have kind of under wrap. But within the next couple of weeks, you'll hear them. Like we got boxing community that we're really getting into as well, and these are the guys that are grinding it out, and they're the chefs. Like you see their food.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with following them on Instagram. I'm like, how can people be eating that on fight week? Because I certainly see a lot of other fighters walking around with their little Tupperwares of tiny bits of chicken breasts that's all they've got for the whole day. And then you see the foil plates turn up from Lockhart and Leaf. Meals on wheels.
Right, that's basically what it is, man. Meals on wheels. We we a lot of times we pick up people at the actual fights. Like somebody will hit us something like, I don't think we're gonna make it. And again, we're really bad at promoting. I'm telling you, like we suck at it because we're never gonna be like, oh, so and so hit us up last minute. And we saved the fight. If something does bad happens, definitely it's gonna be publicized and expanded.
Yeah.
But in the fighter community, all the fighters actually know what really is going on.
Well, and I guess, another thing he said was that you have more people miss weight than anyone else. But when you're looking after a third of the fighters in the UFC, you've got the most people that you're looking after. You are going to have the most people that miss as well.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said before, I think dude, I don't know how many we've had. It's minuscule, compared to the amount of fighters. Because it's not only just the fighters that you work with, but the amount of fights that you work per year. Because each one of these fighters is fighting, anywhere from two to four times a year.
Yeah.
Um, so it's funny. Like you just look at the facts that they're still working with us. So doing something
Yeah.
right.
Is there anyone that's a dream for you to work with that you haven't worked with yet that you'd just love to do their weight cut for them?
Dude, honestly, I don't know. There was a lot, when I first started out, and like Frankie Edgar. He was one. When I got the call to work with him, I was like, oh man, he just seemed like a down to earth guy. And then I met him, and I was like, wow, he's even nicer in person. And it's funny because it'll be during fight week, which I'm like, okay, most of these guys can be grumpy. All the fighters that we work with, they're like the most humble, down to earth, just laid back guys. But yeah, I remember. I don't get awestruck, but like when I was growing up, Tito Ortiz and Boss Rutan, and when I got to go on Inside MMA, I got to meet Boz, and then when I was working with Cyborg, I got to meet Tito, and those are pretty cool times.
Yeah, 100%. I think for me, my takeaway from all of it would be I would love to tell young fighters, and it must be really hard when you're not earning very much in your fights to put money into your nutrition, but don't wait till you miss weight. You don't just because you're hitting that number on the scales, you never know if your performance could be so much better just from eating right all the way through fight week and refueling properly. You, if you're winning fights anyway, that's great. But like you could be putting on a masterclass. You just have no idea how much better your performance could be doing things, you know, the proper way.
Right. No, you don't know what you don't know, and I think a lot of times when people they think about nutrition, it's like, eat vegetables, eat fruits, and they're like, okay, everybody that I talked to when I first started working with them, they're like, I eat clean already. They're like, well, what's clean? Like eating good, I guess, quote unquote, good foods, but if you're not eating them at the right times and the right portions, it's going to have a huge effect on your performance and your weight.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of these guys don't realize that it's not that expensive. Like these amateurs, we have a million certs. You know what I'm saying? Like they can go out and work with a cert, and they can do it remotely, and they'll take care of all the nutrition and all the rehydration and everything for their fights.
But to me, what's fascinating is everybody wants to know, like, I'm sure everybody wants to ask you, and having done the first part of the cert, people want to ask me, like, well, what should I be eating? Or, like, what should I eat in a day? And it's like, I can't tell you that in a nutshell. We literally need to look at what you're doing every hour of every day. And then if you
Right.
don't go and do that training session, then you've messed up everything I told you to eat.
No, that's 100%, man. It's crazy, but that's we have a lot of people that have went to our closed certs. They've started companies. Just I mean, a very large percentage of people that go through the closed certs, they actually start companies where they're working with fighters, doing their nutrition and things, and we give them the ability to do it, so it's super quick, fast.
Yeah, I actually I know one guy, Dean Kirk, who did it with you in Atlanta, I think, and then another guy, Jacob Condrop, who was on my cert one, who came back and did the cert two in London. Both those guys have got some fighters in the UK and Europe that they're doing really well with.
Yeah, those guys are awesome. They
Yeah.
was great.
But it just shows that people can do this and then really move forward with their own nutrition companies and with the knowledge that they learn.
Right. No, 100%. And it's, some people you can't, it's like people will be, you can't get all the knowledge for nutrition and stuff. Like, man, I've been studying this stuff for years, and it's like every time I read, the more I know, the more I know I don't know. It's like this
Yeah.
rabbit hole. you know. But what we do is we arm them with the knowledge needed to improve a weight cut to really help them out. And then they have a team of guys they could reach out to, like, hey, this person's this much weight. I'm thinking of, do I do this or do I do this? And they can call me and Dan because they've been certified at any time, and we're able to kind of walk them through it.
Awesome. Well, I'm hoping to do my cert too at some point, whenever I can get enough time off work to spend 5 weeks
awesome.
somewhere really fun. But thank you so much for doing the podcast. It's awesome talking to you. Have you got any final words for the viewers?
No, man. I'm out of words, but I really appreciate you having me on. And again, if anybody wants to do a certification, just DM me at Lockloaded MMA or go to our website at lockhartandelite.com, and then just email us their information and we'll give them a call.
And when you've got the dates for your show, let us know and we'll post those up as well. I'll try and hook up a business trip from my day job and try and be over in Atlanta at the same time.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be amazing. Anytime.
Well, if this is your last fight, I can't miss the opportunity of seeing you.
Yeah, one last dance. I got one more in the tank.
Anyone else you want to call out, seeing as Dolce's not going to spar with you? Anyone else you want to...
There's nobody else out there like that. I'm just excited to get in the cage. Somebody that's, training, they're working their way up, somebody that's hungry, you know what I mean? Want to, challenge myself and, see what happens. Win, lose, or draw. I'm going to get everything I got and then, see what happens.
So anyone who wants to fight at middleweight at the end of August or September should comment on the interview and we'll try and put you in touch with George.
There we go.
We'll bet them for you and check their records.
I appreciate it.
George, it's such a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Speak to you soon. Thank you, George.
Bye.